Hello, I am Azurillkirby. This is my submission for Shadow the Hedgehog, neutral, no chaos control glitch. So, this Shadow the Hedgehog, it came out during the adventure era of Sonic games, and it plays very similar to them. The biggest difference is obviously that this game has guns, and that changes a lot about the game, especially the combat. Enemies have health bars in this game, but it's really easy just to kill them without even needing to stop them because of the gun feature in the game. And we're going to be doing that a lot because a lot of routes for every stage involve killing a bunch of enemies for various reasons. Primarily, we are going to be heavily using chaos control, which is an ability in this game. Whenever you fill up the hero meter, which is the top right, which you do by killing the alien enemies, then you can use chaos control, which doesn't stop time, but instead it basically just makes you fly through the level super fast without stopping. And so basically in every stage you want to get chaos control and maximize its effectiveness. So I'm about to fill up the meter up here. Go up this booster pad, and there we go. This is chaos control. You just completely blast through the level. It is possible to use this to go infinitely, rather than when it normally stops after about 10 seconds or so. But to do that, we have to use chaos control glitch. And as remember, this category is called any % no chaos control glitch. So this prohibits that. This changes the route pretty significantly, so it makes it so that instead of just routing the stages to just get chaos control as soon as possible, it's instead routed so that we can maximize the effectiveness of each chaos control. Because with the chaos control glitch, you bring it to a checkpoint, you open up a checkpoint menu at the same time, and you just get infinite. The meter never goes down. So this time we know it's going to go down, so we want to use it the most effectively in order to cover the most distance with it. You'll see that in the next stage, which is Glyphic Canyon, where the ideal point to use it is somewhere near the end of the level. So we don't want the meter to be full anytime before that, so we have to carefully keep track of how many enemies I kill and how many points I have in order to make sure I don't have too many or too little at any given point in the level. And if I do, I have to maybe not kill a certain enemy or kill a few extra enemies. In order I get it just where I want to maximize the effectiveness. So, many things you'll see in a lot of Sonic games is skipping loops in certain automatic parts. This game's no different. There are, we skip a loop right at the beginning, and there's also a booster panel we skip, which actually wastes like 5 seconds. That booster panel, surprisingly, it's really slow. So we're gonna pick up the first special weapon here. Whenever you get one of the various endings to the game, you unlock a special weapon. And in this case, we want the Yomo Gun. It fires really powerful bouncy ball projectiles that whenever it hits an enemy, it just like goes back and forth between several enemies like a pinball. It's really effective when there's a lot of small enemies in the level, like those, or these birds. Just one shot kills them both, and it's also really powerful in that it one-shots pretty much every relevant enemy on this level except for one at the very beginning. So it's really helpful for this level. And cool thing to reload guns, you literally just need to walk into another version of the gun that's on the floor. So I just break the box with my gun, pick up another one, and it has more ammo. So up here is a spin dash high jump. This is a really tricky jump. If I can get it. Oh, that was hard. I almost missed that. But yeah, basically, so with a spin dash, you usually just, you get a lot of horizontal speed and momentum, but if you use that on a slope and then jump while you're spin dashing, you redirect all the momentum upwards, and you can jump really high as a result. And in fact, we can skip going around in this circle. Same thing we do here, too, as well. Not the high jump, but we're supposed to go around in a big circle. We don't care, we just jump past from the beginning to the end of the circle. So as you can see, the hero meter is almost full. So we just fill it up here and we go through. So you're gonna notice here that the meter isn't going to, it's gonna empty, but I'm still going. Because basically the game realized that's an unsafe place to drop you because there's a ton of like dangerous stuff around. So the game is like, okay, we're not gonna drop you here, we're gonna drop you at the next safe location, which happens to be past a tornado. And that's why we use Chaos Control where we do, in order to, because again, we're maximizing it, so we know that it's never gonna drop us there. So we am able to use it to go as far as possible without needing to go in this weird tornado cutscene thing. So coming up next is Prison Island. Now, in previous marathons, the neutral category has been showcased. Now which just goes to the goal ring every single level. However, neutral no chaos control glitch very recently, we changed the route because we found it was faster to. Instead of going all the goaling, we do the dark mission for this level, then the hero mission for Air Fleet. In different missions, instead of just going the goaling, you have an objective to fulfill. In Prison Island's case, we have to kill 40 gun soldier enemies in the level. And 40, that's a lot, but because of the way guns work and stuff, we don't really need to ever stop for any of them. We can just basically boom. Oh, so hey, it's charming to be. Just bam, 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 bam. And just, that's how the entire level goes, basically. You also get hero enemies, too, because there is a Chaos Control glitch we use. So this is a vehicle. This is the air saucer. It's pretty much the only vehicle we will ever use in any level game, because we only use it in cases like this where the ground is, like, poisonous. It damages us if we touch it, so we have to get on the vehicle in order to prevent that damage. Otherwise, vehicles are really slow and pretty useless compared to just running, even in casual play. So up here, there's a lot of hero enemies, which we can just use to get a lot of meter. There we go. And we're going to stop it early, because, again, we need to kill all the enemies. We have to kill all the dark enemies, so we have to stop early in order to kill those 3 enemies. But we can still use that because it's so easy to kill all those enemies in the one area that Chaos Control is very helpful. So now I filled up the Dark meter, and whenever you fill up either meter, but you aren't using the abilities, you get Chaos Fever, which gives you both invincibility and infinite ammo, which is very helpful here because this Acid Lake, basically, we can just run straight over it, and again, it's much faster than the alternative of get stuck on the platform there. It's much faster than the air saucer all the way down. So it's very convenient. And plus, we don't have to ever pick up any more ammo. Like I had 3 ammo that whole time, and I just fired all those bullets that one-shot every enemy in this level.
Now let's see the humans try to retaliate.
So, now we're going up to a path above it. Because whenever you do different missions for each level, it brings you to another level. Which is the whole reason why this route is faster than just going gold rings all the way. This is one of the levels, because this level is extremely short, as you will see. The Doom is kind of like, has a maze-like structure. Instead of just being going straight forward, get to the end, kind of like curves around in on itself. And certain parts, there's like doors that bring you backwards in the level, but of course you can only hit it from one side, as they had intended. However, we're speedrunners, we don't care what they intend. So we are going to be able to hit the switch from the other side using another special weapon, the satellite laser. So what it does is it calls like you home in on a thing and it calls a laser from the sky to blow it up. And we can hit the switch from the other side with the satellite laser. And that skips like half of the level, and then we skip another like third with the Chaos Control as well. By the way, we kill fires to get Chaos Control on that level because it's a hero thing to do. So it fills up your hero meter by putting out fires.
Maria, I'm glad that you're safe.
And yeah, that's the Doom. It's like a 30-second stage that's just a complete joke. And by the way, that's not even the only way to skip that door by hitting the switch. You also can jump out of bounds and jump over the door through the ceiling. It's pretty crazy, just like how badly Like, how many... There's, like, 3 different ways to skip that door from the other side. It's pretty crazy. So this is Heavy Dog. Heavy Dog is a very weird, inconsistent boss. So we start out just wanting to hit it a lot. To get him to drop one of his guns. I couldn't get it the first cycle. There we go. That was close, though. And now we take this gun and we use it to hit him a lot more. Shit. There we go. That boss can be very weird and tricky sometimes if you get a bad pattern. What was my time there? 30, that's pretty good. It could have gone a lot worse. Obviously, it's ideal that with the very beginning, you saw me like homing attack around. Ideally, you can just keep homing attacking him until he drops a gun, and then just completely melt him from there on. But yeah, the boss, it's not too slow. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of skill in order to do that boss well. There's a lot of weird little like quirks to it. Up next is Air Fleet, and again, we're not going to be going to Goal Ring. Instead, we're going to do the hero mission because we're going back to the neutral. We've done dark. We need to go back to the neutral path. And to do that, the hero mission for this level, where the other one was kill all the gun soldier enemies, this one is kill all of the alien enemies, kill all the bad guys. And again, there's 35 in this level. They're all pretty good. However, this level has a lot more powerful enemies that have a lot more health. So instead, we're going to pick up another special weapon, the Shadow Rifle, which is probably the most powerful weapon in the game. It one-shots basically every enemy that has a traditional health bar, and so it just completely demolishes the enemies. Also, this was some cool door tech here that we recently discovered that helps that we don't get stopped by as many of the doors as possible. Some of them it is impossible not to get stopped by, but it's helpful to just be able to skip by them without getting slowed down. This we have to slightly break because that enemy does not spawn immediately for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Now, even though we've killed Chaos Control, we're not going to use it, but we are going to use the invincibility of it. Need to spin dash onto this rail. It's a lot faster than just walking on it. It's the top speed you can get with spin dashing onto a rail is much faster than we're grinding on it normally. And that's why we that's what we use invincibility for. The electrified rail would normally damage you, but we don't want that, so instead we damage boost. Though we're gonna go to another electric rail later, and that's not gonna. We're just gonna damage boost through it. Another door trick there. There we go. This time we actually are going to use the Chaos Control. It's not extremely useful, but we get it there anyway, because we have to kill every single enemy, so there's no use, like, trying to route anywhere else, because, again, we have to kill every single hero enemy, which means we'll always get the points at the same place. And there's no enemies in that section. So that happens to be pretty convenient, that we can just fly over it without needing to kill any enemies. Not that ceiling shadow, or the wall. And it should be on the last 3 enemies. There we go. So now that we've done hero, we're going to go back to the neutral path, and that's going to bring us to Lava Shelter. And we're going to be doing the hero mission in Lava Shelter, though that's just because there's no neutral mission in Lava Shelter. But it's still get to the goal ring. But we're not going to use Chaos Control in this level, so we're just going to run to the end as fast as possible. Just ignoring all the enemies in the level, basically. There's a lot of railgun in this level. As I mentioned before, if you spin dash onto a rail, it's a lot faster because of the fact that the top speed is way higher than the normal cap if you just walk onto a rail. Also, when we're doing that, we want to avoid boosters when possible, which is really only relevant at the very beginning of the stage because of the fact that they lower your speed, because they bring you to the speed cap, but that's lower than the speed we're going. So, like right here,
Using the control stick
is
will grind
that here
or
as
let
well.
them lean toward
Boom,
other
boom.
rail while
Avoid the
grinding.
enemies, and there we go. Even though there's a booster up there, we're still gonna spin dash here. It's still worth it. Sorry, my capture card was given out for a second. Couldn't see what I was doing. And one thing I need to notice, this section looks very similar to a part in the last level, because a lot of assets in this level are, you know, like those doors too, are basically the same as an air fleet. A lot of stages in this game just like copy assets from one another. Sometimes it's done really cleverly, like this stage in air fleet. Sometimes it's not as clever. Oh yeah, one thing that's interesting in this note, unlike Adventure 1 and 2, you always have the ring dash upgrade available, which is very helpful. It's like Sonic Heroes. And we use it a lot because it's just a very fast way to get up to top speed at any given point. Plus, I think it's slightly faster than top speed at any given time when in the middle of it. So it's always, so whenever possible, we will ring dash any given set of rings. It's not always, but whenever it, very often. So this rail, we're going to jump off it as early as possible in order to jump past that. Sometimes you might accidentally homing attack the enemy on the bottom because of how far the range of the homing attack is. Luckily that didn't happen. Those enemies home in on you, but they will never hit you, ever. It's kind of a joke.
Activate the defense unit and use the ledges leading to the path on the left.
Now it's just rail grinding to the end of the level. These fans can be kind of tricky. Yeah, like that. If you don't do it, if you don't time your like little hop correctly, then the fan just like stops you. The second one will like just stop you in your tracks. It's possible to not have that happen, and it saves time if you can do it, but it's hard. Also here, there's a big loop down. We don't care. We're just gonna jump off the rail and fall down because we know exactly where the rail is. Magic jump. And off to the goal ring. So up next, the boss is, we're going to be the final boss for this run, which is Egg Dealer. Egg Dealer is a very weird, random boss.
Doctor,
it's literally a
at
roulette
last I'll
wheel.
hear the truth from you.
It's pretty crazy. And luck-based. Casually, it is a joke of a fight. It is, like, almost impossible to lose if you know what you're doing. Even if you don't know what you're doing, it's still pretty easy. You just hit him a bunch, and he never does anything to you. That, unfortunately, on the speedrun, there is a lot of tech to actually make this go faster, and it's very tricky and random. That we have to rely on certain things. So at the very beginning of the fight, I'm going to hope that he gives me either Ring or Shadow. Because those are things that are only good for me, and if he stops it himself, it will never land on it. And we want him to fail a roulette, which can only do if we get something that's only good for us. That's the only way to do it. And, okay, I got Shadow, good. He's going to stop it on, like, either Bomb or Egg Pawn, probably. And because of this, when he does it, boxes will spawn in the level, and if we go to the middle, then he'll spawn the boxes on the outside. We're going to jump to, get this gun. We manipulated him so that he'd go this direction. That's a bit complicated to explain why. But now that we stop in this direction, and we have a gun, now we want to stop on Shadow in order to get Shadow Fever, which again gives us infinite ammo. And again, this is randomness. Of course, I got rings and then bombs, and not Shadow, which are the... So I got really bad luck. Because again, there's only 3 possible things. Here's Shadow. Oh, I stopped him in a really bad position. I'm just gonna do another roulette to stop him at a better place. There we go. And that's the end of the run. That's a basic just neutral chaos control. It's a very fun category. It's very different from the any percent neutral with chaos control.
But this is the end for you.
After this is just the ending cutscene and the credits. Thank you very much for watching.
Perfect.